Welcome, everybody. My name is Keita, and this here is the Resistance Book Club. This video is the Mystic Readathon wrap-up review. So this here has been long overdue because we're almost into November, but I had to do this. I had to. So let's sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So I'm going to talk about the experience of being in a Mystic Readathon. Just nothing too much, but just the experience of my first readathon and actually participating. And also at the end, I'll be doing some book reviews for some of the books that has stood out to me. I cannot go through all of the books because I cannot believe that I read. I literally had to triple count how many books because originally someone because I know my faction had asked me how many books did I read, and I said over 30. Child, I just sat up here and just did a recount and did another recount and another recount because I couldn't believe it. I read 43 books for that whole readathon. 43 books. I ain't never did that a day in my life. And with that being said, because of that, and with the help of the Werewolf Faction, who won? We did, baby. We did. We did. We did. We did. So we won, and I was the MVP of the faction. And the whole experience was great. Just being asked to like participate as a faction leader was just like, oh, okay. I'll just, you know, keep reading. I was reading that rule book like it was white on rice, honey. Like I had to remember it from front to end. You know what I mean? Like beginning to end. Also, too, it was great to be co-host with the other ladies in the faction, and I hope I helped them out tremendously with everything. And it was great doing the reading sprints. It was great doing the watch-alongs, and I enjoyed the, um, like the competition itself, and also too when Nell did the game show and the what was it, the decade video where you get to dress up. I wish I could, but I'm dealing with a 3-year-old. Like I couldn't even really be on and be in costume and stuff like that. Next time. Next time. Hopefully there'll be a next time. Um but yeah, Nell did a great job with this readathon. Like she put her whole foot into this. Blood, sweat, and tears. I just couldn't believe like how good that really turned out. And it's no easy feat, I'm pretty sure. And but she did the legwork, man. She did an awesome job. I think like seriously, everything came out great. I hope she was proud of herself for how everything came out because all of us like literally kept praising her for it because it was really good. It was really good. We had such a good time. But other than that, like happy that we won. I swear, I was sitting there like I said, girl, I sat up there and read so many damn books. This joint better work. But yeah, nah, I was gone. My ears hurt. When I tell you I have bruises from it, I think you can actually see. Yep, you can still see it. There's a bruise. a little bit. It's mainly in this ear, the one in the back, and I had to use cotton balls to put it there so it can sit in. But yeah, no, I was reading. And then there were some that were ebooks that I read, but it's hard, but I did get through it. So, oh, it was no easy feat. I promise you, no easy feat. But I was trying. I don't play. I don't play. You tell me this is a competition. I'm here for it. Like I go for blood when it comes to that, and that's why I picked my werewolf because we're a pack, and I knew they were holding everybody down because we all had to stick together and try to get through this. And honey, when I tell you, baby, I wasn't playing. I was like, what else? Find this book, find that book. Now, remember the video that I did where I was showing some books that would match the prompt? Honey, I barely got through those. I didn't even get through those. So you won't be seeing those. I literally, the rounds were different. So, and I ended up losing some of the books in the audio. So I ended up having to switch and change out to get other ones. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But yeah, other than that, it was such a good time. It literally tired me out. After that, when you see this video, I'm in the middle of Black Halloween and child, I'm tired. I'm tired, but I have to say, Black Halloween is a little bit more, you know, relaxed and whatnot. You just do it at your own pace. You don't necessarily have to go all out. But of course, you know me, because I like to twerk on the fence. I go ahead and challenge myself again. Of course I did. So, as you are seeing this, I am almost done with the fourth location on the Tulis Parish, and I got two more to go. And yeah, mhm. And that is it for that. But yeah, so we're good. We're all good. I am happy that we did it. I'm happy for everybody pulling themselves into it and giving their all. And yeah, man. And with that being said, with the books that I read, all 43 books that I read, which one stood out to me? Well, let's see. And I did save the best one for last. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right. First one is Looking for Smoke, and this here is by K.A. Coble. Um, this here is a debut novel. It was actually I was not given. I requested this on NetGalley. So I was happy to even put this in for the readathon. So in her powerful debut novel, Looking for Smoke, author K.A. Coble Blackfeet weaves loss, betrayal, and complex characters into a thriller that will illuminate, surprise, and engage listeners until the final word. A must pick for listeners who enjoy books by Angeline Bolle and Karen McManus. When a local girl, Lauren, includes Mara in a traditional Blackfeet giveaway to honor Lauren's missing sister, Mara thinks she's finally make some friends on a Blackfeet reservation. Instead, a girl from the giveaway, Samantha Whitetail, is found murdered. Because the four members of the giveaway group were the last to see Samantha alive, each becomes a person of interest in the investigation, and all of them, Mara, Lauren, Brody, and Eli, have a complicated history with Samantha. Despite deep mistrust, the four must now take matters into their own hands and clear their names, even though one of them may be the murderer. Listenership is 10 hours and 36 minutes, and narrators full cast: Julie Lumsden, Katie Anvil Rich, Sean Taylor Corbett, and Jordan Wunsch. Love this. Is definitely on the lines of Angeline Boulley's book, which was The Firekeeper's Daughter. If you have not read that, 5 stars. But it definitely almost have the same formula, which is the murder. But the fact of the matter is that it's following 4 different people, so you kind of get like, I don't know if y'all, I'm sure y'all do, the book One of Us is Lying type of thing. I never seen it, but I know the premise of it. It's kind of like that. Like, which one in this group is the liar who went ahead and did this? So good. I given this a 4.5. Just a great. I think the listenership of this is actually way better than actually reading this. Especially when you have. I love Sean Taylor Corbett. He could do no wrong with me. Like, he's so good. So, but yeah, when he's in it, I'm here. But yeah, no, the listenership for this is really good. I would recommend this. I really would. Uh, Next one is The Brother's Curse by Christine M. Germain. I only read this as an ebook because there is no audio for this. So the synopsis reads is a year after the brutal death of her parents, Crystal Francois moves back home to the eerie small town of Lakeview Falls when one of her neighbors goes away abruptly, leaving his home to be watched by a young man named Jason Warwick. Crystal finds herself falling for him instantly because of his charming ways and dashing good looks. 2 weeks before her 25th birthday, she receives a rare amethyst necklace left for her by her late mother, a necklace with a deadly past and horrible consequences when worn. Crystal finds out that wearing the necklace causes her and her friends to be the target of 2 sadistic 18th century old shapeshifter brothers in their quest to procure the chariot heirloom that holds their demonic father Mastema and 24 evil entities captive. The paranormal siblings will wreak havoc in a small suburban town till they find the chosen and annihilate her. When young men from town go missing and bodies shown up eaten or skin alive, Lakeview Falls is on high alert, and it doesn't take long for Crystal to discover that the new guy in town isn't who he claims to be, or if he is even human. The print length of this is 405 pages. It is actually a saga. I have not read the next book, but I will. This is more guilty pleasure because it has all the trappings of what. Why would you go to a town that's named like Lakeview Falls, but like within Lakeview Falls they have like these weird satanic names and whatnot, and I'm like, who would live here? I don't want to live here. Okay, I'll be sitting here having crosses for days, holy water, and all of that. Y'all are bugging out, but it's so addictive, and I was addicted to it. So I had given it 4 stars because I'm dying to see what the next book is going to be. I did love all the characters in there. Um, the best one is her gay best friend. Aren't the gays? They're always the best. He was so good because he was the one really like trying to figure out the mystery of what was going on, and I really enjoyed that tidbit in there. And with the thread of how this here is connected to Crystal, her family, everything else. How is this connected to the brothers? What does this all mean? And all that other stuff. So everything was good. Of course, the cover is great. It's beautiful. And then listen, because I know a lot of book girlies. They some of y'all don't like that insta love, but there's a reason for that. Okay. So that's what I like because it was a reason for her falling in love instantly. So yeah, it was still a good, a good ride. And so I'm hella interested in what the next book and the next book after that. Like it's really it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun read. But yeah. So four stars for it. Next one is The Lego's Wife. Now, it was previously published as The Niger Wife. I actually have The Niger Wife, um, which is in the blue cover. I actually have it on my shelf. But yeah, she changed it to Lego's Wife for reasons that there was some backlash off of her naming it The Niger Wife. All right, so this here is by Vanessa Walters. Synopsis read Nicole Oruwari. I hope I pronounced that right because I just remember them saying Nicole has the perfect life, a handsome husband, a palatial house in the heart of Lagos, and a glamorous group of friends. She left gloomy London and a troubled family past behind for sunny Lagos, becoming part of the Niger Wives, a community of foreign women married to Nigerian men. But when Nicole disappears without a trace after a boat trip, the cracks in her alleged perfect life starts to show as the investigation turns up nothing but dead ends. Her auntie Claudine decides to take matters into her own hands. Armed with only a cell phone and a plane ticket to Nigeria, she digs into her niece's life and uncovers a hidden side filled with dark secrets, isolation, and even violence. But the more she discovers about Nicole, the more Claudine's own buried history threatens to come to light, offering a razor sharp look at the bonds of family, the echoing consequences of secrets, and whether we can ever truly outrun our past. The Lego's Wife is a gripping work of suspense, a psychological puzzle, a mystery, and a critique of marriage in high society. Listenership is 10 hours and 44 minutes, and it is narrated by Dami Alu- Alukoya and Deborah Michaels. This here, 4.5, it was good. Just think of this as Real Housewives. I'm trying to think, because isn't there Housewives in Legos? I believe I did watch one. I watch a lot of Housewives. I believe there is a Housewives in Legos. Not the Young, Rich, and Famous, the African show that's on Netflix, but I do believe there is one. But just think of that, and um, but then has the psychological thriller aspect in it. It was really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed listening to that. And it really touches on the the terrible dark side of you know all riches, all money and good money, being a stay at home, with a rich man isn't great. Being a mom, even though you're not able to, do much of anything and trying to figure out where your path is, that's not great. So I love that it touched up on it. Trigger warning because it's more of suicide. And yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was gripping. It was really good all the way to the very end. So I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed every part of it, especially of Nicole's journey. And man, it was just like she was crying out for help, like, and nobody just didn't care. And that's another thing because it's like who your real friends are. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that was that one was touching. So yeah, 4.5 for the whole thing. It didn't. It just stuck with me, but I think a 4.5 is like doable for this book. You know what I mean? But yeah, so good. Next one is Kindred, which is not the not the paperback one, but the graphic novel. Not the novel, the graphic novel of Octavia E. Butler. Frightening, compelling, and richly imagined, Kindred offers an unflinching look at our complicated social history, transformed by the graphic novel format into a visually stunning work for a new generation of readers. Kindred continues to draw in new readers with its deep exploration of the violence and loss of humanity caused by slavery in the United States and its complex and lasting impact on the present day. Um, Butler's most, oh no, adapted by celebrated academics and comic artists Damian Duffy and John Jennings, this graphic novel powerfully renders Butler's mysterious and moving story, which spans racial and gender divides in the antebellum South through the 20th century. Butler's most celebrated, critically acclaimed work tells the story of Dana, a young black woman who is suddenly and inexplicably transported from her home in 1970s California to the pre-Civil War South as she time travels between worlds, one in which she is a free woman and one where she is a part of her own complicated familial history on a southern plantation. She becomes frighteningly entangled in the lives of Rufus, a conflicted white slave owner and one of Dana's own ancestors, and the many people who are enslaved by him. Beloved as an essential work in feminist science fiction and fantasy genres, as well as a cornerstone of the Afrofuturism movement, the intersectionality of race, history, and the treatment of women addressed in the book are critical topics in contemporary dialogue, both in the classroom and in the public sphere. Print length is 256 pages. So well done. 5. So well done. 5. I don't even know what else to say. I think it said everything. Said everything. One of the things that I noticed about Octavia Butler, she has a thing for age gap and um, interracial. So I'm going to assume that she was with a white man at the time, and that there was an age gap between her and whoever she was with, whether it's a husband, spouse, partner. That's what it seemed like because even in this, Dana almost looked like Octavia Butler back then. But it was so good to see her like going back and forth in time. That was doing something mentally. And then I think also too to see her husband, Dana's husband, go back in time with her too, because he was like, "Nah, you're not going through this alone." And then he was able to get in there with her, and then he had a oh, I don't even want to give it away. But then coming back, it was like it does something to you mentally. Slavery during those times broke people down. And whether you are black or white, it did something to you mentally. Um, you would have to kill me. I ain't saving nobody. You would have to kill me. I don't know, honey. I don't know. I wasn't built for it, but I could see that it tests you. It will test you to the brink of limits, and it sure did with her. And all you saw was her being broken down mentally, but not physically, but mentally, like stress and oh, like psychologically draining on a person made you feel older than what you needed to be during those times. Like it was just fascinating to just watch, like turning those pages and just seeing, oh man, it was so good. 5, 5. Like, you need to read it. I'm sure a lot of people have read this. It needs to be in schools, to be honest. But yeah, yeah, it was so good. So good. All right, let's go into the next one. Next one, because it's really nothing more to say after that. Next one. Standing at the scratch line. I love it. This is my favorite. It's my favorite. All right, Standing at the Scratch Line. This here is by Guy Johnson. Um, I love this book, as you can see. Raised in the steamy bayous of New Orleans in the early 1900s, Leroy King Tremaine, caught up in his family's ongoing feud with the rival Dumont family, learns to fight. But when the teenage King mistakenly kills two white deputies during a botched raid on the Dumonts, the Tremaine's fear of reprisal forces King to flee Louisiana. Listenership, yes, this one here was long. Listenership was 25 hours and 39 minutes, and it was narrated by Dion Grant. Um, it's a 5 star. This is my fourth time reading this book. It's a reread for me. Yep, I actually have both of them on my shelf because it is a duology. It's more of a generational type of family style book. You do follow King throughout this whole book, and meet the kids and all of that. So it's really just his life. Then the second one is more of, I think you follow his grandson. But Standing at the Scratch Line is my heart and soul. I love that book. It's always King and Miss Lady, Serena. I think it's Serena, something like that. Yo, them two together is oil and water. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. If y'all haven't read this, do yourselves a favor and read it. Guy Johnson, he passed away a couple of years ago. He is also was the son of Maya Angelou, and he only had those two books. He put blood, sweat, and tears and a whole foot, leg, everything into those two books. I promise you. No wonder he didn't come out with anything else because he did it in there. It's the best book. It's literally the best book. I love the banter. I love the interaction that King has with his brothers, meaning his brother at arms, because they all, come together. He trusts no one except for his brothers. Um, I love what he stood for, even all the way to the end. It's just that's how it was back then. And him fighting, like, it was just, oh, and him and Samson, because you can't forget about his right hand man. Samson, honey. He don't talk, he's mute, but he's the best. Best at what he does. So yeah, got all the adventure in the world, has all the family drama in the world. It has all of the trappings of what a black family, goes through during those times. It's such a good read. And then the big part is the Tremaines and the Dumonts, because that's always been the issue, which will always be there, is the Tremaines and the Dumonts, and they still keep it going. That's why I say it's a generational thing that just keeps going and going and going and going. But yeah, I love that book. That book. So I was really happy to reread it and listen to it because I had never listened to it. So that was my first listen, but it's actually like my fourth time rereading. the book. So yeah, I love it. 5. It gets a 5 every day. Next one is another graphic novel. This here is Vampire Huntress, Dawn in Darkness by L.A. Banks, Jess Ruffner, and Brett Booth. That's the other author and the artist. So it's following the famed Naturus and the Naturu Guardian team from the epic 12 novel Vampire Huntress Legend series as they take the fight against evil beyond the Armageddon. In the Dawn and Darkness graphic novel collecting the 4-issue series, the team is still searching for the wounded Antichrist while trying to avoid the wrath of Lucifer. Complicating matters, several members of the team are pregnant with the next generation of warriors of light, and the darkness want them and their unborn wiped off the face of the planet. To make matters worse, a new predator, is hunting humans, something not wholly vampire or werewolf or like any demon they've ever encountered, and this time the predator is out for more than just blood. The whole volume is 128 pages. This here is a 5 for me. I was so happy. I have read the whole 12 book series from LA Banks. Also, she is another author who has passed away years ago, and they had decided to put this graphic novel out because she, I think it was either like she had stuff written and they just went ahead and took her words and turned it into a graphic novel. I believe that's what it says in the author's note, like whole thing in the back. Um, so good because it still follows directly after, and it felt like I never left. And I was so happy to like see the whole team again. It was just, it brought all the feels back to me, and I'm like, I miss this series so much. I really did. Mind you, for during that month too, I actually did reread, or in this case, listen for the first time, Minions, which is the first book in the series. Brought back all the feels. Brought back all the feels. So, yeah, if y'all haven't read that, 12 books in the series, y'all should read it. It's really good. Um, because it's just so good. I think 12 books is Damali. I believe that's her name. Damali, you're following, and she's a black female heroine. She's a vampire huntress. And then you get to see her, meet her wonderful partner, and the whole team is already established with, as you keep going along, more people are added to the group, and trying to battle and face off the Armageddon, the end of time. So yeah, everything about it was just so great. But definitely for this graphic novel, it was everything, and I was so happy to revisit it back. Literally revisit this back. It was so good, so good. So it was definitely a 5. All right, next one is Wolf Pact, and this here is the whole complete saga that I read. Um, by Melissa De La Cruz, because it is literally a spin-off from her uh what is it, the Blue Blood Academy thing series. I read that years ago, years ago. So Wolfpack, I never got the chance to read, but I was so happy to have read this during this readathon. So all 4 parts of the new ebook companion to Melissa De La Cruz Blue Blood series in one place. The ancient wolves were once proud guardians of time. Now they are enslaved in the underworld, mere extensions of Lucifer's will. Lawson's pack managed to escape this fate by fleeing above ground, but when the hounds capture the girl Lawson loves, he will risk everything, including his own brother's freedom, to win her back. Meanwhile, Bliss Llewellyn is adjusting to humanity after giving up her immortal vampire life. When her Aunt Jane is kidnapped by the hounds of hell, Bliss vows to do whatever it takes to save her, even if it means joining forces with a dangerously good looking boy with a wolf's soul and a too intimate knowledge of Jane's capture. And then it has the excerpt of Gates of Paradise, which is the last book, the explosive finale of the Blue Blood series. Print length is 267 pages. Yes, I read it. I'm surprised to have read most of these during the month. Um, Easy read though for all of them. This one here, it brought back all the feels. That's why I gave it a 5 star because it brought back all the feels for me. Um, it felt good to be immersed in that world again. I remember when I first read it, read the whole Melissa De La Cruz's series of Blue Bloods. It was just, I loved it. I loved it. Skylar, Bliss, and I forgot the guy's name. I think Dylan, and then a few others. So good. When I was reading it, it had stuff from the Blue Blood series that was brought in because clearly you're following Bliss um, and her story as she gets into meeting, the wolf pack. So yeah, everything about it was just, it brought back all the feels. I'm happy to have read it finally. Finally, can you believe that I've been sitting on this here for, let me see if it shows how long have I had it for? Because it shows that I did 2013. That's when I purchased this. 2013. That's how long I had it and never read it. But I'm happy to have read it for this readathon. It was good. And it made more sense to read it for this readathon because we're the Wolf Faction. Hey, and we won. Yeah. So yeah, I was very happy with it. Now, last one, 5 star. And I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. Wolf Song by TJ Klune. Wolf Song, 5 star. Can you believe that? I can believe it. I'm sure a lot of people have read this. Um, the Bennett family has a secret. They're not just a family, they're a pack. Wolfsong is Ox Matheson's story. Oxnard Matheson was 12 when his father taught him a lesson. Ox wasn't worth anything and people would never understand him. Then his father left. Ox was 16 when an energetic Bennett family moved in next door, harboring a secret that would change him forever. The Bennetts are shapeshifters. They can transform into wolves at will. Drawn to their magic, loyalty, and enduring friendships, Ox feels a gulf between this extraordinary new world and the quiet life he's known, but he finds an ally in Joe, the youngest Bennett boy. Ox was 23 when murder came to town and tore a hole in his heart. Violence flared, tragedy split the pack, and Joe left town, leaving Ox behind. 3 years later, the boy is back, except now he's a man, charming, handsome, but haunted, and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. The beloved fantasy romance sensation by New York Times bestselling author TJ Klune about love, loyalty, betrayal, and family. I read this, like literally read the ebook. This here, the listenership is actually 18 hours and 41 minutes. But I believe because it was on Kindle Unlimited. Let me see how. 517 pages, and it didn't even feel like it was 517 pages. Loved every bit of this. This here is also an age gap romance, but I'm happy it was a slow burn in the romance. Thank you, TJ Klune, and I am happy that it explored Ox's emotions and feelings towards the fact that there is this gap in the age between him and Joe. It was a very beautiful story. I love him taking his time describing like the world, like really setting up this world, and also taking his time with the character, developing the characters so that way we can sit up here and love on them and be with them with every step of this journey. I love the fact that it just is so loving. Like it was so loving and touching and oh, and I was like, why do I feel for you? That shouldn't, right? But I feel for you. I love Ox. I love Joe. Um, and then just everything, the whole plot was done exceptionally well because TJ Klune just took his time with this. I couldn't believe like he took time to really develop this, and I am so excited to read the rest of the series. I'm definitely reading the next series, the next book in the series. Cannot wait. I do believe like majority of them is on Kindle Unlimited, but I was able to get a hold on Libby for the audiobook. But yeah, oh my god. It was just a beautiful story. A beautiful story. That one took the cake out of all of them. That's why I saved this one for last because it left me speechless and like really wanting more of their story. And this here was actually a group read for us in our faction. And I'm happy that it was because it was everything. 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 So yeah, guess what? That's it. We're stopping here because those are the ones that stood out for me and I really enjoyed it. So again, enjoyed every bit of this readathon. I enjoyed reading most of these books. Thank you, Nell, for inviting me into your space of this readathon. And thank you to my other co hosts, Samantha, Merv, and Rainey, for talking with me during the readathon, also hopping up into their sprints, not like joining, but just jumping into their chat and whatnot. And yeah, I enjoyed. And thank you to my whole werewolf faction, everybody that was in it and participated. I appreciate you guys so much. We did the damn thing. Let's try to see if we can do it again for next year. I'm gonna have to be mentally prepared, honey. I'm always here for a competition. But yeah, so with that being said, let me know which one of those books have you read or sound intriguing to you if you're gonna read it. Which faction was you in? Do you plan to join the Mystic Readathon for next year? And if you were part of if you was a part of one of the factions, drop your faction emoji down in the comments and I will, of course, respond. So, yeah, that is it for this one. I will see you in the next one. This is the way. Peace.